Airbnb, a short-term rental service and one of the fastest growing startups in the history that disrupted a stagnant industry and created a segment that didn't exist 2 decades back. On one hand, Airbnb brought a new and innovative solution of short-term rentals by renting out a spare space in your home and provided an alternative to traditional overpriced hotel booking models. On the other side, the impact of Airbnb on the housing market and local communities is being hotly debated. In 2022, the global short-term rental market was $110 billion, which is expected to grow to $256 billion by 2030. And Airbnb is the largest player in this segment, with over 7 million listings in 220 countries and regions. While many speculated that Airbnb won't survive the COVID pandemic and will shut down, against this, Airbnb not only survived the pandemic, with its over 6 million listings in September 2022, it surpassed the pre-pandemic numbers by 19%. But despite its growth numbers, Airbnb is criticized for increased housing prices and unaffordable rents in many parts of the world. Many governments have started examining the side effects of this global home-sharing platform on the housing landscape and communities. In this story, we will understand the complex world of Airbnb. We will see how Airbnb is causing the housing crisis and is held responsible for skyrocketing rent prices in major cities around the world, how and why pandemic has accelerated this impact. And finally, we will see what major governments around the world are doing to slow down this impact caused by the short-term rentals. So if you are interested to know the story of Airbnb and its effects on the housing market, then stick around. Airbnb was founded in San Francisco in 2008 by Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, two designers who were struggling to pay rent in their apartment. They decided to rent out air mattresses in their living room to attendees of Industrial Design Conference, and the idea for Airbnb was born. They quickly realized that their idea had potential to solve a larger problem of the high cost of lodging during major events and the lack of affordable housing options for travelers. Along with their former roommate Nathan, Brian and Joe built a website named airbedandbreakfast.com that allowed individuals to rent out spare rooms or apartments to travelers. The initial concept was simple: to provide affordable lodging options for travelers and a new source of income for hosts. Airbnb received its first major investment from Sequoia Capital, which helped the company to scale and grow rapidly. The first Airbnb listing was a single room in San Francisco, and the founders personally photographed and wrote the description for the listing. They quickly expanded to other cities and countries, relying on social media and word-of-mouth marketing to grow their user base. Later, airbedandbreakfast.com was changed to Airbnb. Since then, Airbnb has become a global phenomenon, with over 7 million listings from 4 million hosts in 100k cities in more than 220 countries. The platform has expanded to include unique lodging options, such as tree houses, castles, and igloos, as well as experiences and activities hosted by locals. Despite its explosive growth and credits for creating economic opportunities for hosts and small businesses and providing a unique travel experience for guests, Airbnb has faced challenges and controversies over the years, with concerns over the impact of short-term rentals on local housing market. According to an analysis conducted by the Economic Policy Institute, the cost of Airbnb expansion exceeds the benefits that it claims to provide to the travelers and the property owners. Another study by the Harvard Business Review says that because of easy short-term renting, landlords are moving their properties from long-term rentals to the short-term rental market. In 2020, the purchase of vacation homes in United States exceeded the growth of existing home sales by more than 40% from 2019. Owners see the benefits of buying up these homes and renting them up for high profit margins, and this has contributed to a housing shortage, driving up rent prices in almost all major cities. This correlation between the increase in short-term rental homes for Airbnb and the rise in rental rates because of less available homes for long-term renting is called the Airbnb effect. The Airbnb effect is not limited to a city or community. It can be seen widely from Tokyo to Berlin to London to Los Angeles. But tourist places like London and New York City are majorly impacted by this. London, which has the largest number of listings, has doubled the rental price in recent years. Many people in London are paying more than half of their income in rent. Due to the overwhelming amount of Airbnb listings and increased rental rates, New Yorkers are also paying more than $600 million in additional annual rent. A study says that a 1% increase in Airbnb listings lead to a 0.018% increase in rents and a 0.026% increase in house prices. And though these numbers don't look big at first, the long-term impact is substantial. Also, most of the short-term rental revenue goes to a disproportionately small pool of landlords. About 1/4 of hosts run about 2/3 of listings in Airbnb. Many large corporations and real estate investment firms are building their own mega portfolios, pouring in billions of dollars to create holding companies for their assets, only to contribute further to the housing shortage. Also, the pandemic has helped cash-rich real estate companies to invest more in Airbnb. In 2020, when the interest rates were at an all-time low and no one was buying real estate, many big corporations took hefty amounts of loans to occupy the short-term rentals in major tourist destinations in the world. Now, many of you might question, if this is the case, then why Airbnb itself is allowing people to exploit its system? What is their take on this? But before answering this, if you have enjoyed the video so far, please smash on the like button, and if you are interested to know more on the business stories, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell notification so that you never miss a new video from us. Thank you. Airbnb very cleverly blames inflation and rising home ownership costs for increased number of listings. As per them, Airbnb help hosts to afford their homes and pay for the mortgage. As per them, hosting on the platform helps homeowners to stay in their homes. While it may be partially true, Airbnb doesn't take the accountability for inflated home prices and rents due to the surge in vacation homes. Airbnb says that the platform is helping the economy by providing the host an income source and taxes for the government. Well, this logic is same as selling drugs and paying taxes in an economy without understanding the long-term impacts. For an average American, still the biggest asset or equity is their primary home, which is becoming a dream in this era of vacation homes, owned by a few wealthy corporations. Airbnb was started as a home-sharing rental service, but it has turned into a big corporate scheme for evading taxes in the name of real estate investing and making it unaffordable for the middle class. Increased rental and less availability of homes in the major cities of the world are not the only concerns. There are many long-term impacts of short-term rentals. The first major impact is the displacement of long-term residents. As housing prices rise and available units decrease, long-term residents can be pushed out of their neighborhoods, further eroding to community cohesion and local culture. In some cases, residents have been evicted to make room for short-term rentals, leading to protest and legal challenges. Another concern is the strain on infrastructure. As more travelers flock to a destination, the strain on local infrastructure can increase, leading to overcrowding, increased traffic, and other negative impacts on the environment and quality of life for locals. Next major concern is safety. While Airbnb has implemented measures to ensure the safety and security of both host and guest, there have been instances of property damage, theft, and other safety concerns that have raised questions. After these concerns, many governments around the world have been bringing regulations in their cities to minimize the impact of short-term rentals. For example, in London, the whole home cannot be put on for short-term rental for more than 90 days in a year. Similarly, Amsterdam also limited the short-term rental to 60 days a year. In New York, apartments cannot be put on for short-term rental for 30 consecutive days unless the host is present. San Francisco has also put restrictions to limit the short-term rental for not more than 90 days in a year. And hosts also have to obtain rental certification and business registration before renting the homes. Although governments are putting restrictions, these restrictions are still for short-term rental service in a year. There are no restrictions on the number of properties a person can put on Airbnb. Many large corporations with mega portfolios are still buying the properties in major tourist places around the world and earning much more in short-term rentals. These Airbnb empires are funded with risky loans backed by the potential future earnings of the rentals themselves. If the short-term rental burst, it would spell serious trouble for the investors and the banks that funded them. Many have already started complaining about the Airbnb bust, so it might be just a matter of time. Overall, the impact of Airbnb is complex, with both positive and negative effects on the communities and economies. As the platform continues to evolve and expand, it will be important for policymakers and stakeholders to carefully consider the potential impacts and find ways to mitigate the negative effects while preserving the benefits. Personally, I have no complaints about Airbnb itself. I love the idea and the whole concept of Airbnb. but there should be more regulations for the people who are playing the game of inflating the housing prices. So that's about Airbnb today, a modern day service where the promise of opportunity meets the reality of change, and where the notion of home takes on new dimensions in the digital age. Let us know what you think of this service. If you have enjoyed this video, please do like it. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and help us grow. We are trying to bring more amazing business stories to you. Also, let us know what other business stories you would like to see. With that said, I shall catch you in the next one. Thank you and have a nice day.